Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the Las Vegas Metro Chamber. On the broadcast today, Howard Stutz. He's the executive editor of CDC Gaming Reports for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers. 40 years ago, Hotel California and the theme from Rocky were #1 on the pop charts, and D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal started on the road to becoming Nevada's leading roofing company.
I couldn't be more proud of what we've achieved.
And over these 40 years, we've become an employee-owned company. So when you're talking to any employee, you're talking to an owner.
And here's to the next 40 years.
Happy 40th birthday, D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This interview was recorded prior to the announcement of the merger between Eldorado Resorts and Caesars Entertainment.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the Las Vegas Metro Chamber. We're always delighted to welcome Howard Stutz to the program. He is the editor-in-chief of CDC Gaming Reports. Pleasure to have you back on the program, sir.
Well, you know, you got to cover stuff when the legislature's over. Here we are. So
thank you very much. And also, what a relief to be out of Carson City and in Las Vegas.
Well, it's only 100 degrees today, so there you go.
So, so much to talk about. Eldorado, Caesars, Phil Ruffin. Tie some of this together for me.
Well, I don't know where Ruffin fits in with some of this.
There was conversation that he was potentially looking at some of the properties
and that ties in with, that's true, it ties in with what's going on with Caesars and Eldorado. And by the time, you know, who knows how this could change in an hour or so from now. You know, I mean, Caesars is up for sale. Carl Icahn came in, he controls 28% or so of Caesars. He's got 3 members of his own on the board, changed out the CEO, put Tony Rodeo, who was very well known at Atlantic City, into as the CEO now, and wants to sell the company. And Eldorado, of all companies, is there after they've done, you know, how many billions of dollars of deals in the last few years to grow as big as they have been. They're out talking to Caesars on this. There's a lot of issues, antitrust issues that could be involved in this. So Phil Ruffin you have that could slip in and grab a property or two. There's others out there. Tillman Fertitta is still out there thinking, you know, that we could see Tillman grab a property on the Strip. And just yesterday, you know, or Monday of this week, when Caesar, there was an announcement, Century, small company out of Colorado, Century is acquiring 3 casinos from Eldorado, 3 very small casinos that they really, 2 in Missouri, 1 in West Virginia, they don't really have much need for, but that takes an overhang off in Missouri, which could have some antitrust issues. So, you know, we'll see where this all works out, but it's amazing to see this could be coming together.
I was talking to A.G. Burnett, former Gaming Control Board chairman, and he was saying that he didn't see antitrust issues in Reno, for example, where if Eldorado bought Caesars, they would have all 4 major properties in downtown Reno, or with Mount Blue and then Harris and Harvey's at the lake.
It's really what the FTC steps. The Federal Trade Commission is really has the say in this. Nevada, may not, but the FTC has the final say in it. We saw this in the Penn National Pinnacle deal last year. There were some states where there were some issues with these small, there's only so many number of casinos. Penn was going to own all of them. Boyd Gaming stepped in, acquired casinos in Illinois, in Indiana, Ohio, and one other market. It's going to escape me here.
We need to put a map up here.
I know, really. Ohio, I may have been Illinois. They stepped in and acquired those properties, and Missouri. There you go, Missouri. They took that overhang away, so the Pinnacle deal can go through. I think that's what we'll see here. You may see some issues. I mean, you don't want the FTC stepping into this, so I think you'll see some movement along. That's why these other companies are sniffing around now in this deal.
Well, the other thing that's interesting too is that Caesar's stock price is obviously so low, but at the same time their debt is still incredibly high.
That's amazing, Sam. And you and I, how many years ago were we on the show? And
you were the one that named it.
We talked about Caesar's debt, which they went through bankruptcy. It was like at that time, I think it was like $24 billion. They got it down. Well, the debt's up to $18 billion now. So it's just become too.
Your quote at the time was that their debt was larger than the city of Detroit when it was in bankruptcy.
Which was in bankruptcy. It was. And it was just amazing. Now they're back. They went through this 2-year bankruptcy reorganization, and they're back with this huge amount of debt on them again. So where this goes, El Dorado is an amazing company. They've said all of them. They have properties now in Reno, Laughlin, Lake Tahoe. They don't have anything on the Strip or in Las Vegas. That's what that's something Tom Reeg hinted at on earnings calls. I asked him straight out about it at a gaming control board meeting last year. He kind of said, kind of smiled about that. Yeah, they want to be on the Strip. What's a better way to do it than, somehow through Caesars? Do they want all 9 Caesars properties on the Strip? I don't think so.
Well, and how do they, that's really the big question is, with this absorption rate, obviously, at this point, they have to rely on management already in place at these properties because they don't have enough Caranos to go to all these different properties.
Right. Well, that's true. And you've got good management in some of these properties. That's something that you've seen come along here throughout this. That Caesars does have good managers in these properties. Gary Selesner has been the CEO of Caesars Palace for I don't know how long now, years. There's good management in there. It's just properties that you don't, you figure Planet Hollywood just doesn't fit in somewhere. The only reason the Rio still fits into Caesars is because of the World Series of Poker that's going on right now.
All right, so what about, I think the big question here is the Total Rewards program.
Right.
Because that is so incredibly valuable. And when Phil Ruffin bought Treasure Island from MGM, he had a 2-year deal to still be part of the MGM reservation service. And so it doesn't have to be a big player in whoever buys properties that they have to continue to be part of that Total Rewards, at least mailing list in some kind.
Some way you can do that. Yeah, there's ways. I think that's part of the negotiation process. El Dorado's probably got their own rewards program that they're trying to expand now all around the country, that with all the properties they've acquired in the last couple of years. So it's a big piece of the puzzle to grab that Caesars Total Rewards program.
All right, let's take a break. So much more to talk about. We'll be right back.
Tamarack Junction is South Reno's hotspot with over 450 of the latest slots and video games. Sully's Sports Bar, the Dining Car Restaurant, William Hill Sportsbook, and the Tamarack Steakhouse and Lounge. We're just north of the Summit Mall in South Virginia.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad? What are you learning? This place is great.
Huh?
You gotta try this.
Wow, this stuff is great. People are gonna love it.
Yes. Yes, they will.
Hi, I'm Eric Robnett, owner of Home Energy Experts. Has this ever happened to you?
Honey, did you remember to turn down the thermostat?
Forgetting to set the temperature? Not fun. We can help. Our new smart thermostat keeps the temperature set for your comfort all by itself.
I'm feeling hot now.
To increase your comfort, Go to homeenergyexperts.com for details. That's homeenergyexperts.com.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
The Tamarack Junction Steakhouse is known for signature steaks, handcrafted cocktails, and world-class wines. Join us Thursdays and Friday nights from 4:30 to 6:30 in the Steakhouse Lounge for live music, gourmet plates, and well-priced wines, just north of the Summit Mall on South Virginia.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Howard Stutz. He's the executive editor of CDC Gaming Reports. MGM, massive layoffs. And the thing that struck me, and you know, I'm not in their business plan, so it's just my opinion, but when you have somebody like Scott Sabilla who takes the buyout and then a week later is the head of Resorts World, why are you giving away, you know, top line management that contains all the secrets of the world?
That was a question that, okay, there wasn't a non-compete in there. Not
That's
real
the
sure
first
about that.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know, and it's, I mean, Scott's got his work cut out for him. Resorts World is not opening until late 2020, if then. You know, I mean, you know, that's a date they have, but it could fall into 2021. He's going to be starting with, you know, out of database, you know, as we just talked about with, you know, with databases with Caesars.
Well, he would have New York, though. I mean, he would have New York.
You have New York. You have up there, but it's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be. It's not open the doors and they're going to flock in. It's going to be a real challenge. Now he's going to get a lot of attention as it being the first new resort, all new resort, not counting Lucky Dragon, but a mega resort on the Strip since 2010, since Cosmopolitan opened. So Caesars, I mean, MGM, you know, they've lost a lot of institutional knowledge out of there. Dan DiRigo was CFO for 20 years. Alan Feldman took the retirement. They're basically going to this whole centralized system where decisions are made at the corporate level for multiple casinos rather than just the casino the property president make a decision. It's now going to be made on a corporate level. They see that as a way of saving money, through, you know, increasing cash flow. That's this big push, plus whatever is happening now with this ad hoc committee of the board that's looking at all the real estate. MGM's under fire. They've been under fire from the activist hedge funds, the activist investors. The guy they put on the board, this Keith Meister, is the disciple of Carl Icahn. He's involved with this real estate committee. We don't know what they're going to do.
I think the stockholders have a right to be upset. You look at the stock price by comparison with Las Vegas Sands and Wynn. Even without the Wynn factor, Wynn is still way up there. And yet MGM has been in the doldrums, period.
MGM has been focused. They haven't got the return they thought they would in Springfield. National Harbor has been a winner. I mean, it leads Maryland every month in gaming revenue. Maybe there's a thought that it could be higher. I don't really know, but it is. I mean, that's been a home run for MGM. They're going out and they're striking all these deals for sports betting, all these different tie-ins. But their big focus is Japan. They want that integrated resort in Osaka. It was the whole reason they signed that deal with Major League Baseball, not so much for sports betting, but it was they sponsored a couple of games in Japan between the Seattle Mariners and the Oakland A's, where the players had MGM logos on their uniforms, and MGM was all over the place in the Tokyo Dome. That was what that was done for. So that's their big focus, and that's where they're hoping where the growth will be. Is now we may see them when we talk about Caesars pairing off some of these smaller properties to get this deal with El Dorado. We may see MGM divest itself of some small properties.
What do you think that they might give up?
Who knows? I mean, maybe something in the regional markets, maybe something on the Strip that doesn't fit, you know, in a certain way. But that's some of the things that they're looking at. They've got a lot of land on the Strip that unused.
All right, so let me ask you this question, because this struck me the other day. Did City Center fulfill the dream that MGM had?
That's a hard question to answer, because I hate to say yes and I hate to say no. It's somewhere in the middle. They never were able to open. The Harmon was a disaster. They had to tear it down. The real estate sales at the time for the condos weren't what they thought they would be, but they have turned around, and it has been, that has been somewhat successful. Aria has been a hit. I'm pretty, I would imagine. Vidar is more of a non-gaming hotel that has a huge market for people that don't want to stay in a casino hotel. They go to a Vidar, which is much larger rooms, non-smoking throughout, so that's kind of a plus, and no casino, but you can walk over to Aria real quickly, and the retail shops, they sold that, right, which made sense. They were able to monetize that. It's still a 50-50 ownership with Dubai World.
But I guess
they're making money on it. I mean, it's they're every quarter, that comes up, they got the report there, and it seems to be doing well profitably.
Yeah, but I mean, the concept as pitched originally was that it was going to be a city within a city.
Now, that didn't work out.
It just didn't work out. And then, of course, there was going to be City Center North, which is where they're still having events and things, but there's no plan for City Center.
The idea, and it was the same idea. That's why Boyd Gaming made the smartest move ever and killed the Echelon, because Echelon is supposed to be like a mini city center, so to speak, and they knew with the recession they stopped it, and now it's Resorts World, sold it off, and it's going to be Resorts World. But yeah, has City Center been what they originally the conceptual idea was for it? No. But has it been successful? It's been moderately successful. It's done well. Listen, they've got that whole south end of the Strip now with what they've remodeled. Plus, we have the arena. That's an absolute,
yes,
game winner. With the hockey team and all the events there. And if somehow they end up with an NBA team, which has been Jim Murin's dream, is to get an NBA team, put that in the arena there, then it's all a gold mine.
I believe the Stutz family is the biggest contributor to T-Mobile.
Not really. Not really. We do go to some Golden Knights games, but not really.
Let's take a break. More with Howard Stutz when we come back.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Come visit Design Outdoor's store and backyard to see our wide selection of fire pits, barbecues, and pizza ovens, natural stone water features and fountains, and frost-proof pottery. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
Can't do it. Stupid, like my mom.
We can't do anything at Mommy's because you won't pay child support.
Dad said you cheated, and he's not even sure he's my dad.
Mommy said you left both of us, so she isn't gonna let me see you. I look just like my father.
I'm divorce attorney Marilyn York, and I may represent men, but hate has no gender, only casualties. Please, stop sacrificing your children in your war against your ex.
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor, full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Howard Stutz. He's the executive editor of CDC Gaming Reports, and without a doubt, the finest gaming reporter in the country. Wynn Resorts, a $55 million fine, a $500,000 fine for Matt Maddox. Nobody batted an eyelid at the size of that fine. And doesn't it just go to the strength of the gaming industry, period, and especially the Wynn brand?
You know, I thought I covered the hearing in Nevada, and they went into it not knowing what was going to happen, and I think they were stunned by the size of the fine. Just looking at the faces of the board of Wynn that were sitting there, they knew they were going to get hit in Boston. They just didn't know how much. So you have $55 million in fines. The thought is they're going to make it back in the first month that Encore Boston Harbor opens. Because that's opening pretty quick here. It's going to be a huge property when you look at it. What they're doing.
They have to open it on a Sunday morning because the traffic would be too insane at night.
That's real fascinating to me. That the parking if they're going to run shuttle buses to park all over Boston to get into it. That's going to be that's real fascinating. What's happening with that. But the Wynn brand still strong. I think Matt was angry at the fine that he got, and I think he's more angry that Boston put this over, the Massachusetts Gaming Commission put like this overseer over the company, that for 3 years you have to get approvals for this and that. That's why there was this like 3-day rumor that they were talking with MGM about buying Boston Harbor, and I think both companies made a huge mistake in this, in terms of image in Massachusetts. Boston, where Mamie Maddox approached MGM as a public company has to consider this type of thing. MGM didn't read how Springfield was going to react to this, because they would have sold their Springfield property, and it was over. It was announced it got leaked to the Boston Globe on a Friday, and it was dead on Tuesday. Right. So I think, once all that's behind us now, we're going to see how they operate, and we'll see what happens with Wynn, where they move forward. They're still doing well in Macau. They've got a lot of investment plans in Macau. Las Vegas properties are what they are, on the Strip. So we'll just see where this moves forward here. And they're talking about Japan too. So everybody, you and I are the only ones not talking about entering in Japan.
I got $10 going into Japan. The other thing I was talking to A.G. Burnett about with Steve Wynn is that at this point, Steve Wynn is still personally not off the hook in Nevada.
He's not. He said, well, I'm turning in my gaming license, and the board said, no, right. we're going to put it on an administrative hold. So what that means is they could come up with some kind of disciplinary complaint against Steve Wynn. They could do something with all these people that were named, and the former executives that were named in the complaint. Send letters of reprimand. I don't know. The control board is new. It's 2/3 of the board is new. Sandra Douglas Morgan and Phil, the new members appointed by Governor Sisolak. They're kind of I don't know if they're looking at this. Do they want to take this on? Do you actually want to file a complaint against Steve Wynn and then bring him in front of the Gaming Commission for a hearing? When they were doing the hearing on the fine on Wynn Resorts, I got a call as I was driving over to the Sawyer building. Somebody asked me, is Steve Wynn going to be there? And I said, God, I hope so, for the sheer circus that would be. I don't know if they want to do that. At this point now, Steve Wynn is never going to get back into the gaming industry. There's not a regulatory body in the nation, let alone the world, that would license him at this point. So he's done. He's out. Why bother and move forward? Let everybody move forward.
Okay, but there's still one jurisdiction that has not weighed in, and that's Macau. And AG was saying that when the relicensing comes up in 2022, that if it's going to come up, that's when it's going to come up.
Nobody knows what's going to go on with this relicensing. They haven't really. They extended it all out. Everybody's in 2022 now. Sands, Wynn, MGM. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the government. There's going to be a new governor, I guess they call him a chief executive.
Of the region, yeah.
Of the region, sort of like the governor of Macau. They'll have a new person in that post by 2020. We don't know what the parameters are. It's been an overhang with some of these companies on Wall Street now. What's also been an overhang is the trade war with China has been hurting the Macau stock prices. There's so much going on there. We just don't know what's going to change or how that will change. But yeah, that could be an issue that comes up with Macau.
Yeah, because there's been absolutely no discussion of that at any point. As regards Macau, Grant Govertson put out a piece last week from Union Gaming, we both respect, talking about the fact that he believes that Macau is overbuilding in terms of casino capacity. That would be a huge deal.
Well, you also look, he's looking at other companies now. Because none of the American companies are really adding casino space. Sands is redoing this whole Cotai Central into the Londoneer. So it's not going to add really more casino space. They're just going to retheme and rebrand this whole area as a London-themed property, try to draw more tourism. Wynn is going to spend, I don't know how many million, on this 7-acre site that's near the Wynn Palace, but it's all non-gaming. It's going to be hotel, entertainment, retail, what we see in other markets. That's really what the U.S. companies are doing. What Grant's talking about is you've got other companies, SJM and Galaxy. Are they adding more casino space? Is it really starting to run out, especially with Japan coming along, Korea coming along, Macau, Singapore, going on? There could be a lot of problems, and Macau's got enough. Macau could be hitting some growing pains. I remember years ago in my RJ days when they were talking about $100 million in gaming revenue in Macau, and then the market tanked, and now it's around 30 million or so a year. So it could be a challenge for Macau.
Do you have time to stick around to do another show?
Sure.
Okay. Sure. We'll be right back on our next broadcast with Howard Stutz. We'll be right back.
A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hey, Dad? Are you learning? This place is great.
Huh?
You gotta try this.
Wow, this stuff is great. People are gonna love it.
Yes. Yes, they will.
St. Ives Florist, for every holiday and every special occasion. For romance. Custom home design. We have the largest selection of fresh flowers in northern Nevada. And we also offer a large selection of unique gift items. Come see me, Lorianne, at St. Ives Florist, 700 South Wells Avenue, or call me at 333-9190.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Our thanks to the Las Vegas Metro Chamber for hosting us. And always, you can catch all of our shows at NevadaNewsmakers.com and on YouTube. We'll see you on the next broadcast.